Hello, welcome back. This is just going to be a very short video going through three examples from lesson 10.4. So these three examples are or example number one, A, B, and C on page 430 in your textbook. So these are evaluating negative exponents and evaluating zero exponents. So when you see this direction, evaluate expressions, that means they want you to basically calculate what the answer is. So don't leave anything with powers, like 3 squared, for instance. You'd make it 9 instead of 3 squared. Sometimes you'll see simplify an expression, and that's a little bit different, and we'll cover that a little bit later. So here we go. Example 1, part A. We've got this 3 to the negative 4th power. Okay. Like we talked about in an earlier video, 3 to the negative 4th really is the reciprocal of 3 to the positive 4th. Okay, and reciprocal just means if it's a fraction, you flip it, or if it's a whole number, there's really a 1 right here. So we're going to flip this and make it 1 over 3 to the positive 4th. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. I'll use pen. All right, so we have 1 over 3 to the positive 4th. Now this can be evaluated further because it says evaluate the expression. So this is really 1 over 3 to the 4th. Well, 3 to the 4th power, if you grab your calculator, or if you know what that is, you can just do 3 to the 4th power. And it's 81. So this would be 1 over 81, and that would be your answer. Okay. Let's look at the next example. So here's an example where we have negative 8.5 in parentheses to the negative 4th times in parentheses negative 8.5 to the positive 4th. Okay, so this is an instance of the product of powers, and they both have the same base. So if you remember from lesson 10.2, I think it was, when you multiply two powers that have the same base, you add their exponents. So this means this is going to be negative 8.5 to the power of negative 4 plus 4. Okay, and I'm just writing that for explanation purposes. You could just do that in your head because we know that negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So this is really just negative 8.5 to the 0 power. But like we talked in the earlier video, anything to the 0 power besides 0 is always going to equal 1. And since this is in parentheses, this is going to equal positive 1. So that would be your answer, 1. You don't want to leave it as negative 8.5 to the 0 power. You want to write 1. If you type that into big ideas like that, they'll say it's wrong. You need to write the answer as 1. Okay, let's look at this next example. All right, so this is the quotient or a division problem with two powers that have the same base. So Mrs. Pirlo kind of explained how to do that. You're going to subtract these exponents. There we go. So 2 to the negative 2nd power is what you're going to get. 2 to the negative 2nd. All right. Well, we need to evaluate this, kind of like we did back in part A. So this would be 2 to the negative 2nd. All you do is write 1 and then over 2 to the positive 2nd. So when you move it down to the denominator, this negative 2 becomes positive 2, okay? Because it's the reciprocal of positive, or 2 to the positive 2nd. So this equals 1 over 2 squared, which is 1/4. And that'd be your final answer. Okay, so that's it for example 1. Now you're going to want to try those on your own questions. Okay, so this is one of the on your own questions, and I'm just going to show you how to do this one, and then you can do the other 5 as practice, because this one's a little bit more involved in the examples that we did. Okay, so when I look at this, I'm seeing two different properties. I'm seeing this property where we need to multiply these two powers, so we're going to add the exponents, and then we're going to have to divide, so we're going to have to subtract exponents. So for the numerator, we're going to do 4 to the 5 plus negative 3 power. Okay, well, 5 plus negative 3 is just 2. So this would be 4 squared over 4 squared. okay? Because 5 plus negative 3 is 2, and 2 is just 2. So now, well, the property would say, hey, you got to do 2 minus 2, which is true. So that'd be 4 to the 0 power. But if you think about it, this is really just 4 squared over 4 squared. It's just 16 divided by 16. Well, 16 divided by 16 is 1, which agrees with this also. 4 to the 0 power is also 1. So you just write 1. So again, don't leave your answer with a power of 0 like that. Make it a 1. All right, that wraps this short video up. Thanks for watching.